Hey there, Allison here in the Beatrice Workshop. So today we are starting a new series. It's called Form Tours, where I get to share with you all of the cool forms that we make here and also, tell you a little bit about the story behind the forms because each one has, of an idea behind it, a reason why the creator made it, and their hopes and dreams for that form. Today, we are starting off with Sasha Velour. So we've made multiple forms for Sasha. You may have heard of her. She is an international touring drag performer. She's amazing. If you ever get a chance to see one of her shows, we highly recommend it. If you've ever seen her on stage or on social media, you know that her costumes are over the top. I mean, when I think of, the epitome of costume design, I really do think of Sasha's looks in particular because they involve, lots of embellishments, a lot of handwork. A lot of times there's a headdress. I mean, they really are amazing creations. So we've been lucky enough to be working with Sasha, and specifically Sasha's costume designer, Diego Montoya, who is a two-time Emmy-winning costume designer on a show on HBO called We're Here. One of the challenges that Sasha is facing is just not being present for fittings. And, honestly, some of this work has to happen, it takes so many hours that it has to happen on a form and not a live person, because I don't know if a person could stand there that long while somebody is hand, embroidering or attaching different embellishments. So that's why Sasha originally came to us. And so we made her a classic, but it's been a while and it was time for an update. So we ended up making this form, which is a plus with arms. So all of our new features, and this is really gonna help with just opening up doors for Diego to make, things that really aren't possible without having the shape in front of him, because he does a lot of draping and working directly on the form. So this is really gonna help out. So let's talk a little bit more about that. What's special about this form? You'll notice right off the bat that this is a corseted shape, okay? When they scanned Sasha, she was wearing a corset, and it's a very dramatic shape, as well as some body padding to get the shape that you see here. Okay, so it is very unique and, to be quite honest, challenging to cover, and I'll get to that in a moment. But one of the requests was to leave the lines of the corset in the shape and not smooth it out too much. And this is because Diego wants those reference lines when he's designing. So that's one of the cool things about getting a Beatrice made, is we have, for every client, doesn't matter who you are, we always do a 30-minute pre-scan consultation. And this is really important, so I understand the goals of the designer, for the form, what they're gonna be doing with the form. So I knew all this stuff in advance because we had an in-depth conversation about what was needed and how we could make this, the really ultimate creative tool. So we did that. What else? What is interesting about this? So this has my new and improved cover. I'm very excited about this. So I managed to figure out how to do this without a waist seam, at least not on the front. So the front is completely seamless, as you can see, which is so awesome, right? Because that means that you as the creator, you as the designer, can decide how you want the form marked. Because if I do it, it may not be in the spot you want. Wherever I put that seam, that might not be where you want a marking on the form. So without that, this is a blank canvas, and you can mark it per your needs. And I'm sure once we send this to Diego, he'll be marking this extensively, with all of his reference markings that he needs. The arms this one's a little tight. We like to make them very close fitting and secure because, you know, these things are going to be used and removed and put back on over and over and over. And what I really like about our design is that we machine all of our parts out of really high quality stainless steel. And Nathan has done a lot of work to design the connection mechanism with this. It's basically a disc here on a post, and these are all high precision parts, and the way it mounts to the plate on the form is really secure and very durable. Because if you look at like a shop form or, you know, just any kind of standard form, normally these parts are just mass manufactured and they're not very high quality, not very high precision. It's funny, when we went on Adam Savage's Tested, you know, he's a major builder, and he makes, you know, fine precision things. And one of the first thing he noticed was the way we do our plating system for our arms and how nicely they're made. And he gave us a lot of compliments, which felt so good because we worked so hard on this to do a really high quality job. So it felt good for someone to recognize that. This form has the optional slide lock down here, and you can see it's a big handle, and you can, all you have to do is turn it, and then you can loosen it and move it up and down. And what that does is provide some extra reinforcement for holding up a form, especially when it has heavy garments on it. You know, when you're in the world of costuming and doing these very, you know, long gowns and really elaborate things, they can involve a lot of materials and they can be heavy. Also, if you're putting a lot of force on the form while you're working on it, that lock can, you know, secure it and just make sure it doesn't slip at all. And the thing is, the modern dress form stand, it works with a friction mechanism up top. And, you know, all of our forms have a working foot pedal, and you can move them up and down, and they will lock into place when you release the foot pedal, but it's just a friction mechanism. And there's just a limit to how much weight those can hold. And this goes for every dress form stand out there. It doesn't matter. They're all like this. So we, you know, give an option to add this locking system so that you can, you know, make it a little more secure depending on your application. Oh, covering it, very challenging because even with this new system or with the new design of the cover, I still have a seam in the back. That's because I have to have a back crotch seam in order to round this curve and, you know, give some room for the booty, because otherwise the fabric's not going to get around there. But this is, you're probably wondering, you know, you look at this, you're like, how did you get that thing on there? Haha, I have a little surprise. I put a zipper in the crotch here. So it goes up and down, and it fits right inside this crotch. And I found this, I had to research zipper technology here because I wanted to find something that would work with a knit fabric and be very low profile. So I found, and it had to be separating, okay? Because I have to separate the zipper to get it over. So I found this really great YKK, very high quality zipper that is meant for knit jackets. And it's very fine, it's very flat. The zipper tape is very thin yet extremely durable. So I was able to install that. It is very hard to zip because this cover pattern is negative 20% ease because I want a very, very tight fit here. I don't want any wrinkles or, you know, it's this surface that you're going to work on. I want it to be really stable. So zipping that zipper takes two people. Nathan has to help me, but I'm really happy with the finish because this quality of finish, you know, really can't be beat. Another thing I wanted to mention about this form is you see the arm position. So that's another thing that I always talk to my clients about before they scan and give them a little coaching. And for this form, we're talking about costuming, right? This form is intended for, designing these costumes that have a lot of fullness potentially. So the fullness might come out at the hips here. And so we had Sasha scan with the arms out like this so that there would be room for the costumes that may extend out from the body. So that's something that's really cool about having a Beatrice custom form made with arms, is that you can put the arms in any position really. I mean, there's a limit. You can't put them out like that because there would be no way to attach them. But in terms of, for maybe a modern maker that's just sewing clothing for themselves, they may just have the arms loosely by their sides. But for costuming, you have some choices here, right? So if you're doing cosplay, you're creating armor, you might be doing, who knows what you're doing, but you can put the arms how you need them so that the form is still really useful for you. So that's all I have to share about this form. I think that it is such an excellent example of what is possible with a 3D scan form. One of the coolest pieces of feedback that I've gotten in some time came from Diego, and he said that working with his original Beatrice Classic opened up doors for him that he could not even approach or do, like techniques and designs, without the form. So that is amazing. That makes us feel so great. And that's what I want for you. I want to create a tool that helps to open doors and expand what is possible for you in your maker practice, whatever that is, whatever you're making. So that's really exciting. I can't wait to share more of these with you so you can see what people are doing with their Beatrice forms. Like what do they look like? What are the features? And just really, understand and get to know the vision and the ideas and dreams, behind these forms, because everybody's doing something different, something cool. And I can't wait to share those with you. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and talk to you next time.